So I've got, I mean, this is a good day because I'm feeling all jet lagged and oversensitive and discombobulated and making mistakes left and right. And so what I usually do is get reactive and shut down with those sorts of things. And, you know, that's a small thing compared to being like lost for 25 years in India, you know, from your parents because you took a train by accident, if anyone's seen the Lion movie, or having your wife almost die in childbirth. But it feels like it's the same muscle. And I recognize, I mean, this is my number one issue, is being able to deal with little emotional waves and not, you know, process them. Like, they take me out of my core.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm watching myself do this all morning, you know, and I'm like,
who
is that guy?
So do this being, let's again, like, slow it down to the minutia experience.
So I don't know. I can't talk.
You want to talk about the feelings? It doesn't have to. It sounds like you.
Yeah, the trigger doesn't matter.
Yeah,
right?
The trigger doesn't matter.
So what happens is something happens.
Yeah.
You know, I asked you a question.
The coffee is not as
coffee.
Good as
Yeah, I could not even make instant coffee this morning. You can't make instant coffee.
Okay.
Or I ask you a question and it's like it's not a complicated question, but somehow it gets to a complicated conversation. You're like, leave me alone, I'm busy. I'm like, you know, and the feelings that come up with that. I mean, it's that micro of that feeling that is what happens all the time.
Let's presence that.
There's a recoil feeling of like I did something wrong.
Mm. So there's a contraction.
But a lot of it, like if I make the coffee wrong, that's unconscious. Like what I'm actually conscious of is my response to that, which is to contract and to just like endure. Like okay, so I made the coffee wrong this morning. So now I'm going to deal with the consequences of that in my life. I'm like resigned, you know, and it's still holding it too heavy. Still holding it too heavy.
Stop. Because that's really the biggest issue, right? So it's the contraction, and then between the contraction of I made a mistake or, you know, got triggered by something, between that contraction and the resignation.
Yeah.
Because you just gave the resignation.
Yeah.
What's between them? There is another step that's actually unconsciously not being, you know, kind of present. So there is, mistake.
There's an ouch. There's this little really narrow spectrum band of fear and anger. Like this little flash of fear and anger.
Okay.
You know, it's narrow. Yeah.
And the fear and anger is toward?
Well, it's toward myself.
Okay.
It's only possibility.
Yeah. Well, not only sometimes. So it depends. It depends on the situation. When you're making a mistake, it's towards yourself. And
I don't know, it's so quick. I can't even identify.
Yeah, but that's why. But that's our challenge, right? That's our challenge as a human being.
No, and I really see how the whole universe is in that moment.
Yeah, we're all doing this all the time, 24/7. We're being reactivated and activated, and within and between, and so that if we don't pause to, you know, kind of like find that micro experience, so that we can isolate it and, you know, look at it, so that we can intercept it and look at it, so that we can actually check it and see what's going on there, it does become this automatic pattern.
Right. But I mean, what I found myself wanting to do all morning was just to sit down and just be quiet.
Yeah.
And I couldn't because I had this to do and this to do, and this came up, and it.
But you didn't.
And I didn't sit down and be quiet.
But you didn't have this to do and this to do. That's part of your pattern too. So that's part of
When you had asked me a question, we need to find this document. I'm like, okay. And like
wait.
I have this jump.
Okay.
So I'm talking about the emotional experience.
Yeah, the emotional experience.
Yeah,
right.
Okay. I like jumped like, okay, emergency, you got to do this.
Okay. So there was, so pause. Pause. Because that's part of it, is like the
it feels
way
like it's the same thing.
It feels pressure.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah. So there's a pressure, right?
It's a demand.
You're hearing it as, you got to do this now. You don't kind of like, well, where are we with this? Do you need this now? I have these other things. Where does it fit? So why? Because there is a constant action. And that's what we want to look at first. There's like nothing wrong, but we want to look at the way we operate. You know, and it's not only you, it's the way we operate. It's a space of doing. I gotta do this. We're jumping, we're agitated, we're pressured, we're forced into this space. And taking that breath and becoming aware, and then intercepting that and saying, okay, really, what's on my plate today? Or what's on my plate right now? And then what's on my plate today? And is that, where is the priorities? Where is the, kind of like rhythm that I want to flow into? We just kind of bounce. We bounce from one thing to the other to the other. There's very little consciousness.
So I brought us somewhere else, and I want to come back to where we started, because that also felt
it's part of the whole.
The beginning of it.
It's part of the whole.
Because the impulse to just sit down and be quiet feels like it's in this, like it feels, as much as it's good to be quiet and to be centered, it feels like that's my coping mechanism for having this feeling of pressure and
okay.
or making mistakes.
So let's pause.
And it would be running from it.
Pause.
Okay.
So you just said it feels like that's my coping mechanism. And almost like as if it is some kind of a defense mechanism so that you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You just said those words.
Yeah, I think I meant that.
Okay, so reflect on that for a minute. Is that your coping mechanism? Do you sit and reflect?
No, I don't.
Okay, so that is the opposite of what you're doing. That is not your coping mechanism. Your coping mechanism is what?
To just keep doing.
Yes.
To react.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who came in with that story?
Me.
And who in you came in with that story?
The ego that doesn't want to change.
The ego that doesn't want to change. Because what is the story there?
Well, the story behind that one is that these feelings of stress.
No, the pausing. What is the story behind the pausing?
The story behind not pausing?
Not pausing. What was the implicit in the story?
The story behind the fact that pausing is a coping mechanism?
Yeah.
That I should be able to handle the feelings that come up without needing to run away from them and be quiet.
So I should just be able to handle it. There's another story behind it that was implicit, and that was like, oh, that's just kind of like, what? Like if I pause, feel for it.
If I pause, well, a lot of things aren't going to get done.
Yeah. Things are not going to get done.
You're not going to get coffee. I'm not going to get.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So sit with that, because that is such a freaking drive in us. It's maddening, this drive, getting things done. It's insane. It's at the cost of doing it poorly, or not doing what actually needs to be done, because we won't pause. Because pausing is tantamount to being lazy or being weak. Or it's going to be destructive because there's so much to do. But notice what happened. So when we talked about it, you got actually confused. So watching the other way, the way the brain worked, right? You actually got confused in thinking that was a coping mechanism that you do, or you think that it's a
Or
coping would be a coping mechanism, when actually the opposite is true. You don't allow for that space, and it feels like something wrong or bad.
You know, that's tricky.
It is.
So there's that tight, you know, chest thing that
Mm-hmm.
happens when there's a pressure, you know, in the chest, even like thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking myself, am I even looking at the right issue here? Like, maybe I should be looking at this other thing. Like, it's amazing what my thoughts are doing, because
Yeah.
I actually think it's supposed to be about how I feel when I do something wrong. That reactivity, because that feels like I'm completely out of control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when I might slam something or shout something.
Yeah, and that is because there's no room for pausing.
Where?
Within. There's no space to pause. There is action, reaction, action, reaction. And so cultivating the pause button and being comfortable, learning how to be comfortable and just not doing. Just being quiet. Seeing that as valuable.
It's tricky because I remember seeing it as valuable, and I remember looking at my frenetic state as like I never want to be in that again. So it's much more important to be grounded and to pause rather than operate frenetically. I remember looking at it from that perspective of being grounded. I don't remember that when I'm this way.
It's not anchored yet, but something important happened, so I don't want to skip that.
Okay.
And that is, you know, as you're kind of letting that in, you felt that
chest thing.
So what's that chest thing? What is that? Can we go there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were pausing,
yeah, it's in the moment of the reactivity. I put myself in a position where I've reacted or feeling that reactive. I'm pausing then, or this isn't even fitting into my head.
it's not supposed to be in your head. So see if you can reenact this bodily.
Yeah.
If you can't, you can't. It's okay. But if you can, it would be valuable, perhaps.
Yeah.
So when you're in the middle of this reactivity, you're in the middle of this trajectory, you're in the middle of this, you know, whether it's to beat yourself up or it's to lash out or it's whatever it is, that space of like taking that deep breath and saying, okay, pause. And generally you can't do it on your own. We pause you, so that's fine. But, and that's why
it feels like a letting go, for sure.
So that's
like
it.
There's something really.
Yes.
There's something really violent there to like let go of that. I really like, even just thinking about it, want to like grab it or grab something.
Yeah.
You know, just I don't know what that is. It's wild and dangerous and awful, and
yeah, that's it. It has so much force, doesn't it?
I don't know where. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it lives. It's there.
You feel the force?
yeah, I don't feel the force now, but it feels like there's a hurricane right next door. Like I feel the fury of a storm that I know doesn't exist, but
So
it's like,
stay with what is.
yeah, it's the
don't
feeling of
meta
it.
it.
It's weird though. It exists and it doesn't exist. It's a you know, when I put attention on it, it kind of swirls away. It but I know it's also real. Like, because it if I surrender to it, then I go wild. You know, it's
So that's your impression. Look at me.
yeah.
Your impression is that surrendering to it, you go wild. I'm going to challenge you on that. I think in acting from it, you go wild.
Yeah.
But surrendering to it, so going inward and just feeling that hurricane within, just feeling it all, just blowing up within and beginning to see that it's an energy field.
Yeah. When I touch it that way, you know, there's a witness part of me or something that is not hijacked by it. And so it's much smaller, but I wonder if I'm really surrendering to it.
Okay, so the surrender to it is the willingness to be present. That's the surrender. The surrender is touching it and allowing it to be there without trying to suppress it and or without acting from it. So not being controlled by it.
So allowing it to exist, like I feel it as a tension.
Granted being. Yeah,
it's there, but it's like contained. There's a contained
there is a
tension
exactly,
right now.
it is.
And it's just like, it's just like here.
And hang out with it. So hang out with it. So can you do it now?
Yeah, I am doing it now.
Okay, but do it without the mind. So we've done this before in terms of just like breathe into it, localize it, and then you know how big is it? You know, what's the scope of it? What's the size of it? What's the shape of it? The color? You know,
it's bright.
Enter it.
It's bright white yellow kind of, and the shape is like a very narrow flash, kind of like, you know.
Okay, so you don't have to tell me, right? What you want to do is develop a relationship with it.
Okay.
So it's between you and your body. Between you and your energetic field within. It's about making friends with what lives inside of me. It's not about being afraid of what lives inside of me. It's not being controlled by what lives inside of me. It's about learning how to hang out with what lives inside of me. And the only way to do that is by hanging out with it. And then stay in your body. Yeah, so you're inside your body, so breathe. You know, presence yourself fully, expand yourself within your body. Breathe. Let all of you come in. There's a lot of energy inside of you. There's this energy, there are different types of energies. So,
yeah.
What happens is we become afraid of this energy.
Yeah, I am afraid of it. And, So that, like, I can see myself just laughing and just saying, okay, you know, so I can't make coffee, or I can't complete a sentence, or I said something, I mean, whatever it is, I can see myself having a, like, it's okay, like just laughing at it.
Yeah,
you know,
playing with it.
yeah, but I can't see myself doing it. I can see myself doing it, but I'm like,
okay, so again, I mean,
there's a reluctance to let go enough to do that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
present too.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and that's
and that's just a pattern
yeah,
from childhood,
but that's
right?
part of what we're right. I know
So this is the, you know, daddy thingy. You know, daddy, you know, you made a mistake that, you know, you were emotionally or psychologically beat up by this, so
Yeah.
you integrate it. We know where this comes from, and we know that it's a habit and a pattern. We know that if you pay attention to it, it's extremely uncomfortable. So running away, doing, distracting, keeps us from
kind of
staying in
always
our
I'm
body.
always guarding against this, always.
And instead of guarding, what just needs to occur at this stage, as you keep reminding yourself, and we can keep reminding you, is to pause and become friends with it, so that it could actually begin to dissipate. And look what happened when you kind of hang out with it. It's like, oh, I can see a part of me that can actually laugh at this.
Yeah.
Or play with it. I can't, but I can. But you begin to see the glimmering of, like, oh, there's something else going on.
It feels
here.
really exposed when I'm sitting, like, just laughing at it. Just feels, you know, very vulnerable and just exposed. Like I don't want. There's a part of me that really doesn't want anybody to see my mistakes or
and again,
or my reactivity. I know, so I'm aware as I'm speaking
again,
of this.
Allow.
Yeah, allow
right?
that.
Allow.
Yeah.
Allow for that feeling to be there. And hang out with that.
It's amazing how counter the feelings are to what I know. Like,
But no.
I know, but I can see the emotional belief and the knowledge at the same time.
Yeah. And get out of the knowledge, though.
Yeah, no.
And come back to right now.
Honor the emotional.
Honor
truth.
the emotional and notice that you're safe.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel safe.
I know. It doesn't feel safe. But are you safe?
Yes, but that's what I know.
Yeah. No.
But I also feel safe.
Know.
Yeah, I also feel
there's
safe.
no animal coming to eat you right now.
That's
true.
There's
no gun to your head.
From that perspective.
So you are safe.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of animals. It's afraid of other people.
I mean, we're all the same. So can you get back into the anchor of, you know, the clarity? Can you anchor in the clarity? What is true?
What's true is I have a lot of a flash of fear and anger and other things that come in when one of these things occurs, and that I don't want to. I don't want a presence that I want to avoid it and hide it, and that's what a part of me does.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also true. There's a part of me that can kind of grant that being, I guess, and surrender to it, and that it's safe to pause and allow and just be witness to what's going on in those cases. I don't need to fix it or hide.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. And it's safe. I'm not going to die or be eaten.
And which one do you want to choose?
And it's a part of me. And I want to choose the part that I want to grant it being. Okay. I want to show up that way.
Okay. And when you're having a difficult time showing up that way,
I have help. Yes. Yes. I have
Okay.
all of you for help. Yes.
Reflection.
Yeah. Still a little bit tricky. Like if that's happening and you're like running out the door and need something or whatever, like.
I understand it's not going to be perfect. It's
Yeah.
going to take time. We're not going to be able to cover every situation.
Yeah.
So there's the human mind going, yeah, but what about this and what about that? Right? That's what happens, so that we can get distracted from the,
Yeah.
I am clearly choosing to enter my body, feel what's going on, and not be afraid of it, or if I'm afraid of it, to sit with it and recognize that I'm not in danger. And I'm clearly choosing that I don't want to act from there, because then I feel out of control, and then I don't feel that I can trust myself. And I want to feel that I can trust myself. Well, I want to feel comfortable in my own body.
Say the thing about control again, being out of control.
That when I'm acting from there, then I lose control.
And acting from there is actually the reacting from there.
It's reacting from there.
It's not granting it being.
Right. It's not granting it being.
So I'm choosing to allow it to control me.
So
if not now, then 5 minutes later.
Right.
Because I'm not dealing with it. That's what happens. When I run from it, I know.
Absolutely.
It's still there.
So pausing and being, granting it being, allowing it, and becoming friends with it.
Yeah, my mind just does, I know we're over, but my mind just does all this stuff with it.
To notice.
Yeah, just noticing my mind, like it connects it to like this whole trend of, well, there I go again.
Okay, what's true? What's true? What's true?
Yeah.
What's true?
It's just the mind doing it.
Always going back to what's true.
Just the mind doing it.
Yes. And the mind is, the machinery, that habitual automatic machinery that's been doing it for many, many, many years. And it's not letting go so quick.
I don't always know if I'm okay.
Pause.
This is actually.
Pause is always okay.
But it's connected to the same mental script that says, okay, well, I screwed up 5 times this week, and so therefore I have to be like it's like a gaming track, and so it gets harder and harder to grant it being. If I screwed up once in a while, it would be funny.
That's the story.
I know.
It's part of the same machinery. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the amount of time. That's ego's negotiated space.
Right. I know. I see it.
So
it's
I'm
comparing me to some standard.
I'm here now. Yeah. Oops! I fell off the wagon. I'll get it. It doesn't matter that I fell off the wagon 20 times in the last hour. It doesn't matter. What matters is here, now.
Yeah.
What? Reframe. Shift. Here. Peace.
Yeah.
Pause.
Okay. Yeah.
It's always available. It's a matter of just teaching the system to do this new habit, this new pattern, and become comfortable and familiar with what's up.
Okay.
I know. There's a sadness that always comes after that. I know.
Yeah, it's all part of the system, though. I see how that particular side of the system.
I know.
It's part of the system.
See, this is what happens. And once we start examining it under a microscope, we see all the minutiae little details that, are sucked into the system. It's amazing. It's all emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I've said it before. It's like trying to debug a computer program where the debugger is part of the bug, and so it lies to you.
Yes, that is intellectually the way it is, and we don't really care about that intellectual part of it. So we're gonna pause.
All right. Fine.
Are you complete now?
Ish. Yeah.
Yes, we will continue with this. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Ish is not here.
That's right.
Yeah, Ish is not here.
Yeah,
That is bizarre.
All right.
Yeah. Bizarre. Okay. So.
Hi, everybody.
28 seconds.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to jump in and reflect?
David, well, first of all, I noticed right off the bat, how much more skillful you are with this stuff right now from when I first started engaging in this forum with you.
I was feeling less.
So I understand. That's why I wanted to let you know that objectively, at least from where I stand, you seem way more. You speak French a lot better, or German, whatever the analogy is that we're using. And so, maybe you're just noticing a lot more, right? And it feels like you're less proficient, but you were just oblivious to it. At least that's been my experience in the past as well. So that's one. And the other is just like, I just had this vision of, when Ronit and you were talking about the machines, like, look, it's the matrix. The way out of the matrix is to go into the matrix. Mm. Maybe we need to have a group viewing of the matrix, or maybe you and me need to have a group viewing of the matrix, David. It's been a while.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rafe. Thank you.
I was gonna recommend reading the first couple chapters of Nothing Again.
Oh, maybe I will.
Because it really, I mean, what it so simply articulates is the doing of the mind, just going. And I know your mind is like so fucking powerful, and I know it always wants to get somewhere beyond. I mean, my mind does too, but your mind is, because of its genius, has a couple extra layers there. But I'm here with you, and I really like that. Let's make friends with it. Pause and let's make friends with it, because it does take a little of that edge off, right?
Yeah.
And as you were sharing about the making friends, I was thinking about my own way that I can play with it, and I had this like vision of making like a little skit, like a video skit of me interacting with like my emotion, like interacting with the sadness, right? Because I have that same sadness that comes up after I have a realization of something, some pattern. So if you want to maybe play with me on that, I'm gonna take that on as a play, and just make something like very funny about my own pattern. And if you want to like do that with you, I'm happy to like play with you with that. And just that could be a good way to start.
Okay, art therapy.
Yeah, art therapy.
Yeah, all right.
Cool. Storytelling therapy.
Yeah.
A cartoon. I mean, I can see cartoons doing this. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The interior of human mind,
exactly.
Heart, and
exactly.
Beautiful. So, what are you feeling right now? You just witnessed a group of individuals sharing their innermost thoughts and feelings with each other without any fear of judgment or criticism. Imagine if all of us in the world would be able to be ourselves, share ourselves authentically without fear of being judged or criticized. Imagine if you and your family, with your friends, your colleagues, were able to be fully yourself. We would really discover how amazing we are. I invite you to share this with anyone that you feel would benefit from this experience. Let us all be love together.